filing of the income tax returns. And I can see a number of participants in the house. Kindly use the chat box. You can let us know where you're joining us from, any questions or any concerns that you might have, and we'll address them as we go along. I can see we have Sheila in the house. I can see Nathan. I can see MG, Karibu Sana MG. I can see Melody is in the house. I can see Dee has joined us. I can see Daniel, Clifford. I can see AJ. Please invite your colleagues to join us. I believe the session will be insightful now that we've joined the filing season. Please do not shy away from using the chat box. If you have any questions, any comments, don't leave if they have not been addressed, and we'll be able to address them all. So without much ado, allow me to welcome my colleague, Maria. Maria, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can, Mildred.
Yes, so maybe you can introduce yourself. Tell us if you have anyone else from your team, where you sit.
All right. Good morning. My name is Maria. I'll be your presenter for the income tax filing presentation today. Samia Business Park, the micro and small taxpayers office at Samia Business Park, Block C. So in case you have any question in regards to taxation, or you need any training on any tax heads, you can come to our office at Samia Business Park. We'll be able to take you through the training. Thank you, Mildred.
Okay. Thank you, Maria, for that nice introduction. The team sits at Samia Park, as she had said. Maria, I can hand it over to you. We're in good hands, so please keep your questions, your comments coming on the chat box. We'll address them as we go along. So I'll hand it over to you, Maria.
All right. Thank you so much, Mildred. So kindly welcome everyone once again to our sensitization today. Please give me a minute to share the presentation.
That's okay, Maria. As we do that, you can see who else has joined us. Oh, but we can see your presentation, Maria.
Good morning. So we will start off. Today I'll take you through the filing of the individual income tax returns. That is for employment income. So if you have employment income, also if you have any withholding certificates, we'll be able to learn a thing or two in our today's sensitization. So before we start, we ask ourselves, who exactly is supposed to file for the income tax individual returns? Everyone with a KRA PIN is expected to file for the annual returns. The accounting period end month for the individual returns, it is December. So everyone that has an individual KRA PIN is expected to file their returns. That is from the month of January to June. For example, currently we are filing for the month of for the year 2025. So we are filing now we are given from January 1st January to 30th June 2026 for us to file our returns. So which documents do we need to file our returns? That is to file our individual returns. First, you need to be a registered taxpayer. That is, you need to have your KRA PIN number for you to file your returns. That is, if your PIN was registered before that is before January this year, you are expected to file your returns. That is, I mean, even if your PIN was registered on 30th of December 2025, you are expected to file for that, to file from 30th December 2025 to 31st December 2025. That is to cover for that year. You also need an iTax password. That is if you're filing your returns on the iTax portal.
Hello, Maria. We've lost you.
I'm sorry for the disconnection. So we've mentioned one of the documents that we need to have before we start filing our returns. It is our KRA PIN. The next thing, if you're filing your returns on the iTax portal, we need you need to have your iTax password, but we have other simplified forms on how to file your returns. You can use the eCitizen platform to file your returns. And also, if you're filing for a nil return, you can also use the USSD code, that is the *222# So in this case, in our today's training, we are training on the employment income. So for the employment income, you also need a P9 form. This is a form that is prepared by your employer at the end of the year. The form has all your deductions for the whole year. It has your gross income. It has your allowable deductions. It also has the pay as you earn that was deducted from your salary and remitted to KRA. It also has the reliefs. We have the monthly relief, that is the 2,400 per month, and also we have the 28,800 per annum. We also have the insurance relief. If you make any insurance contributions to an insurance company, you are entitled to 15% of the monthly contributions. So if you make a contribution for example, of 3,000 every month, you are entitled to a relief of 15% of the 3,000. So if you have insurance policy that is maybe for life or education, you're expected to issue the insurance certificate to your employer for them to grant you the relief, the monthly relief. Also, you need to have a mortgage certificate. That is, if you have a mortgage, you need to have the mortgage certificate, because if you have a mortgage, you are entitled to 30,000 per month an allowable deduction. So the first 30,000 on your interest, it is an allowable deduction from your gross income. We've already talked about the insurance certificate, that is for life, health, and also education insurance. For the education, it has to cover up to a maximum of more than 10 years. So if you've taken an insurance for more than 10 years for education, then you're entitled to the 15% relief on your monthly premiums. We also have the exemption certificate for persons with disability. So if you are a person with disability and you have an exemption certificate, you are entitled to 150, the first 150,000 from your monthly income, it is exempted from tax. So please take note of the documentation that is needed before filing your annual returns. I repeat, we've talked about the KRA PIN, we've talked about the iTax password, we've talked about the P9 form that you need to get from your employer. We've talked about the mortgage interest. We've said that the 30,000 from the interest, it is an allowable deduction. We've also talked about the insurance policy for life, health, and education. That is the 15% of the contributions to the insurance company, you're entitled to relief of the same. We've also talked about the exemption certificate for persons with disability. The first 150,000 of their monthly income, it is exempted from taxation. Also, if you have pension contributions, for pension contributions, the first 30,000 on your contributions, it is an allowable deduction. So also to mention on the documents that you need to have, we also have the affordable housing levy. The affordable housing levy, it is an allowable deduction from your gross income. Also, if you make contributions to SHA, it is also an allowable deduction. Also, if you have the post-retirement medical fund, the first 15,000 of your contribution, it is an allowable deduction. So we move on how to file your return on iTax. You can file your returns on iTax. We have two different options on iTax. We have the income tax resident for employment income only. And also we have the auto-populated, that is the pre-filled income tax resident return. So if you only have employment income as your source of income, you can use the option for income tax resident for employment income only to file your returns. That is, if your employer has been deducting your the monthly pay as you earn from your salary, and they've been remitting the same to KRA, then you can use the option for income tax resident for employment income only to file your returns. This option, it has your monthly deductions, and also it also has your gross pay and the taxable pay, and also if the employer has been deducting the statutory requirements, these are the allowable deductions. For example, these are affordable housing levy, SHA, and the post-retirement fund. That is if you make the contributions to the post-retirement fund. Then we have the other option. It is the auto-populated, that is the pre-filled income tax resident return. Also for this option, it is the option for downloading the Excel sheet. If you download the Excel sheet, it has all the information for you. And the two cases, they apply to employees that their employers, they've been remitting the taxes to KRA. So before you start filing your returns, after you've downloaded the auto-filled return, you are expected to compare the information that is in your P9 form and what is in the KRA system. If the information is different, you're expected to go back to your employer and confirm what they deducted from your salary and what they remitted to KRA. Some of the information that is available in the auto-populated return, it is the gross employment income. This is your total income for the year of income, that is the 2025 year of income. And also we have the taxable chargeable income. The taxable chargeable income, it is the gross employment income you minus the allowable deductions. Also, we have the tax payable. This is the tax that is calculated from the taxable income. And also we have the pay deducted. The pay deducted, it is the tax payable minus the reliefs. As I mentioned earlier, we have two reliefs. We have the personal relief that is applicable to resident employees only. That is the 2,400 per month and 28,800 per annum. And also we have the other relief The one that is applicable to the insurance relief for life, health, and education policies. That is 15% of the premium contributions. We also have the social health insurance fund contributions. This one, it is an allowable deduction. We also have the affordable housing levy. This one, it is also an allowable deduction. Just to mention, for the social health insurance fund, it is calculated at 2.75% of your gross employment income. For the affordable housing levy, it is calculated at 1.5% of your gross employment income. We also have the pension contributions, that is, if you have any. For the pension contributions, up to a maximum of 30,000 per month and 360,000 per annum, it is an allowable deduction. Anything in excess, it is subjected to taxation. We have the personal reliefs, as I mentioned, it is the 2,400 and the 15% of the insurance policy contributions. So please, before you proceed with your filing, with your annual filing, kindly make sure you have your P9 form from your employer and you've compared the information that is in the P9 form together with what you downloaded from KRA. If there is any discrepancy in the information, please go back to your employer and make the corrections, because you can submit a return, then you find that you are in a payable position and the monthly pay as you earn was deducted from your salary by your employer. So to avoid later reconciliations with KRA, please make sure you've submitted the correct information to KRA. So I'll take you through the practical part. Please, as we continue with the sensitization, kindly, if you have any questions, please type your questions in the chat box. After the sensitization, we will have a Q&A session. So first of all, I'll take you through the filing of the employment income only option. That is, if you only have employment income only and you want to use the option for simplified return. First thing, you search for iTax portal. Once you search for iTax portal, this is the page that will be auto-populated for you. So first thing you need to input, if you are an individual, you can use your national ID to log into the iTax portal. Once you input your national ID, the system is going to autofill for you your KRA PIN. So once you get your KRA PIN correct, then you proceed to input your password. Also on this page, you can also check a PIN. We have the PIN checker for checking the validity of a KRA PIN. We also have the tax compliance certificate, exemption certificate, excise license checker. So if you have an exemption certificate, a tax compliance certificate, you can click on the TCC exemption checker to confirm if the same it is valid. Also, if you have a withholding tax certificate, you can use the option for withholding tax checker to confirm if the same it is valid. Also, if you, we also have the status checker, we have the agent checker, we also have the control unit checker, we also have the invoice number checker. This is for confirming the validity of the eTIMS invoices. So once you've put your PIN, your KRA PIN, or maybe you've used your national ID to log in, then you've put the correct password and you've done the security stamp calculation, you click on login to log into the iTax portal. Once you've logged into the iTax portal, also maybe if you can't remember your password, we have the option for forgot password. You can click on the option for forgot password. It is here. It is the last thing on this page. You can click on forgot password. Also, if you've locked your account, the iTax portal account, you can click on unlock account for you to unlock your account. Once you click on forgot password or unlock account, a new password will be shared via the registered email address. So make sure the email address that is registered with your KRA PIN, it is a correct email address and you have access to the same. Yeah, this in the arrow, this is where we have the option for forgot password and unlocking your account. So once you've logged into the iTax portal, we have different tabs. We have the home tab, we have the registration tab. In the registration tab, this is where you can change your email address, your contact details. You can also add for obligations. You can also add obligations. We have different obligations. We have obligations that are in the annual regime and the monthly regime. For the annual regime, we have the income tax, resident individual. This is for individuals. We have the income tax for companies. We also have income tax for partnerships. In the monthly regime, we have the turnover tax. We also have the monthly rental income. We have the excise duty. We have VAT, and we have the pay as you earn obligation. In our case today, we are filing for income tax resident. So once that is the registration tab. Now we also have the returns tab. In the returns tab, this is the tab we are focusing on today. We also have the debt and enforcement tab. We have the payments tab. In the payments tab, this is where we register for payment slips. That is to make the payments to KRA, that is if we have any taxes due. We also have the assessment disputes. This is where you can raise objections, that is if you have additional assessments from KRA. We also have the refunds tab. This is where you can apply for a refund from KRA. That is if you have any taxes that were paid in error. We also have the certificates tab. In the certificates tab, this is where you can do an application of the tax compliance certificate. And also, you can also do a reprint of the withholding certificates. Also, we have the useful link. This is where you can do a reprint of the acknowledgement receipt, that is for the receipt that you get after filing your returns. Also, if you forgot to download your payment slip, you can use the option for useful link to download the same. So today we are focusing on a returns tab, and also to mention the dashboard that you can see, that is the dashboard that has sales, purchases, imports, and downloads. This one, it is for customers that are registered for e-teams. At the end of the month, once they've issued their invoices, they can check on this dashboard to confirm on the purchases amounts on their e-teams and the sales amounts. And also if they made any imports, they can also confirm the amounts on the imports from this dashboard before they file their monthly VAT returns. So today we are focusing on the returns tab. So once you click on the returns tab, you select the option for ITR, which stands for income tax resident for employment income only. Once you click on it, it will take you to this page. In this page, it has your KRA PIN, it has the tax obligation we are filing for. In our case today, we are filing for income tax resident individual. Then because we are using the option for ITR for employment income only, it is going to autofill for you the return period from, then the return period to. If the return period 2, it is not autofilled for you, you can just type it manually. It is 31st December 2025. Once you click on next, it's going to take you to this page. This is the basic information page, and the basic information page, it has your KRA pin. It has the return period from. This is the return period you're filing for. Also, it has the return information. That is, if you have car benefits, you say yes to. Has your employer provided you with a car? You say yes. That is if you have the car benefit. Do you have a mortgage? If you have a mortgage, you say yes for you to claim uh, the allowable deduction, which is 30,000 per month and a maximum of 360 per annum. Do you have a home ownership savings plan? This one, it is not active at the moment. Right now we have the affordable housing levy. Then the next one is, do you have a life insurance policy? That is, if you make contributions to an insurance company, you say yes. Do you earn any income from a foreign country? If you have foreign income, you say yes to that option. Then the part 2 for bank details, this one will be active after you filed your returns. That is, if you will be in a refundable position, this is when now this part for bank details will be active. It will be activated for you to fill in your bank details. Once you've confirmed the basic information, it is correct, you move on to the next section, which is section F. In section F, we have the gross pay. This is your total pay for the whole year. So in the section F, we only have the gross pay. So you need to confirm the gross pay that is in the KRA system. It is the same as what we have in the P9 form that is issued by your employer. Once you've confirmed your gross pay, you move on to the next step, which is section M. In section M, we have the taxable salary. The taxable salary, it is the gross pay minus the allowable deductions. Then we have tax payable on taxable salary. This is the tax after the taxable salary has been subjected to the employment income graduated scale, different rates. Then we have the amount of tax deducted. This is the pay as you earn. And this is the amount of the tax payable on taxable salary minus the reliefs. Then we move, once you've confirmed the information is the same as what you have on your P9 form, you move on to the next section, which is our last section, section T. In section T, we have different fields that we need to confirm before we submit the return. We have the first one, it is the pension contribution. You need to confirm this information will be auto-filled for you. That is, if you have pension contribution. So please, you need to confirm this field is the amount is correct. The amount is the same as what you have on your P9 form. In most cases, this is the amount on the column E2 on the pension details on your P9 form. Another field that you will need to confirm here, it is the field for post-retirement medical fund. That is, if you have any, you can claim up to a maximum of 15,000 per month as an allowable deduction. We also have the affordable housing levy. This is the 1.5% of your gross pay per month. You're expected to claim the same as an allowable deduction. So you need to confirm if this amount that we have in the KRA system, if it is the same as what is in your P9 form. We also have the social health insurance fund, that 2.7 2.75% of your gross pay. It is an allowable deduction. So you need to confirm this amount is the same as what is in your P9 form. Another field to confirm before you submit your return in section T, it is the personal relief. This one will be auto-filled for you. For the whole year, the personal relief, it is 28,800. So once you've confirmed this information is correct, then you click on submit to submit your return. Once you submit your return, you will get an acknowledgement receipt that has an acknowledgement number. So you can download the acknowledgement receipt to just keep in your records. So kindly, please, if there's any question, type your questions in the chat box. Allow me now to take you through the filing using the Excel sheet.
Maria, as you go through the Excel sheet, a kind reminder to our audience today, if you're unable to chat with everyone, you can chat directly with the hosts. We'll be able to see your questions. Just in case you're not able to type your question on the chat box for everyone to see, you can send it directly to the hosts. Back to you, Maria.
Thank you, Mildred. Maybe please you can confirm that the Excel sheet that I've shared it is visible.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, thank you. So we will continue with the second filing option, that is for the one for downloading the Excel sheet. So once you download the Excel sheet, this is how it looks like. That is, if your employer has been remitting the taxes to KRA, the Excel sheet will be auto-filled for you with your employment income details. So once you download the Excel sheet, the first section, it is the basic information. In the basic information, the information will be auto-filled for you. That is, the Excel sheet is going to come with your KRA PIN number. It is going to come with the type of return, the original return. We have two types of returns. The original return, this is if you're filing the return for the first time. Also, we have the amended return type. That is, if you want to, you've already filed for the original return and you've noticed you made some errors, you want to correct the same. The type of return in this case will be amended. But in our case, because we are filing the return for the first time, it is an original return. And our period, it is 1st January 2025 to 31st December 2025. So please note that, for example, if you got employment maybe for 3 months in the year 2025, the return will cover the whole year, that is 1st January 2025 to 31st December 2025. But the income that you will declare in the return, it is the income for only the 3 months. So we move on to the next step. Once you've confirmed the basic information, it is correct, you move on to the next section, which is section F for employment income. In section F for employment income, we have your PIN. We have the PIN of the employer, that is your employer's KRA PIN. We have the name of your employer. In our case, this is our KRA PIN. This is just an example. Then in our example today, our name of employer, it is ABC. Then it is going to have your gross pay. That is, this is your total pay for the whole year. So please, as I mentioned earlier, you need to confirm this information with what you have on your P9 form. Then we have the next section. This is section F2 for other income with final tax. Some of this income with the final tax, it is qualifying interest, qualifying dividends. So if you have the same, the information is going to auto reflect here, but it doesn't mean you need to declare the same when filing for your returns. The reason why you don't need to declare the same, it's because this it is final tax. We have section M. In section M, it has details of the pay as you earn that was deducted from your salary. In section M, we have the PIN of the employer, we have the name of the employer, we have the taxable salary. Taxable salary, it is different from the gross pay because the taxable salary, it is the gross pay minus the allowable deductions. Then we have tax payable on taxable salary. Then we have the amount of tax deducted. This is the tax payable on taxable salary minus the relief. Then once you've confirmed this information is correct, you move on to the next section. Section Q. This is for income tax payment credits. So if you had any payments that you had made in advance, for example, installment taxes, the same will be auto-filled here. So once you've confirmed that, we move on to our last section, which is section T for tax computation. Section T for tax computation, as I mentioned in the previous presentation for income for employment income only, you need to confirm the pension contribution. It is correct because the same will be auto-filled for you. You also need to confirm the other allowable deductions, that is the post-retirement medical fund, the affordable housing levy, and the social health insurance fund. You need to confirm the amounts that they are correct and they match what you have on your P9 form. Once you've confirmed that, then you're expected to confirm the taxes due or the refund due. That is, if you are in a payable position, it is a positive amount. If you are in a refundable position, it is a negative amount. So please take note of that. If the tax due, it is positive, you are expected to pay the same to KRA. If it is a negative, you are in a refundable position. So if the negative amount is due to maybe insurance policy, mortgage interest, or maybe personal relief that you are not granted on your income, you can apply for a refund from KRA. But please, if you have the same certifications, that is for mortgage interest, insurance policy, please make sure you give your or exemption certificate. Please make sure you give the same to your employer for them to grant you your reliefs every month. So once you confirm the taxes due, you click on validate to convert this Excel sheet to a zipped file. Once you've validated, it is usually saved in your documents. You go back to your iTax portal now to upload the zipped file. So kindly, we've come to an end of our today's presentation. Please, if there is any area that you need clarification on, you can type your questions in the chat box. We will have the same, we will have the Q&A session in a few minutes. So please, Mildred, Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Maria, for simplifying that, how to file the return, especially if you have employment income, using the pre-populated information and using the information already on iTax, that is ITR for employment income only. So far on the questions, I can't see many. I can see one someone is asking, how do you change your email on iTax if you forgot your password? Maria, if you can hear me?
Yes, Mildred, I can hear you. So please, now to change your email address, if you can't recall the email address that you registered your PIN with, you can send a request to callcenter@kra.go.ke. We will be able to change your email address. And please, in the request, you are expected to attach your national ID. You can take a picture of your national ID on both sides, or else you can scan the national ID and attach the same as your supporting document. So I repeat, if you can't recall your email address that you registered with, you registered your KRA PIN with, you can send a request for change of the same. You can send the request to our call center email address. It is callcenter@kra.go.ke. We will be able to change the same for you. Or else you can walk to any KRA offices with your national ID, or any Huduma center. You go to the KRA desk with your national ID. We will be able to change for you immediately. Thank you, Mildred. I hope the same it is clear.
Thank you, Maria. That is clear. I hope it's clear for the person who was asking. I can also see a question. I was issued with a withholding certificate. Do I use it to file my return? So they're asking, they were issued with a withholding certificate. Should they
Yeah.
use it to file their returns?
All right. Maybe I can take that.
Yes, Maria, you can proceed. You can take that.
Yes, I can, Mildred. I'm sorry for the disruption. So for the withholding certificates, if you have a withholding certificate, then you're expected to use the option for Excel to file your returns. Maybe I can project again the Excel sheet. Is it okay, Mildred?
Yes, proceed.
So please give me a minute. I project the same.
Okay. As you project, kindly keep your questions coming. You can chat directly with the presenter or with the host in case you're not able to chat with everyone. Just chat directly. We'll be able to see your questions and address them. A recording of the same will also be available on KRA TV on YouTube in case you'll want to refer to this later or you missed something. So please keep your questions coming. We'll be able to answer all of them.
All right. So on the question for the withholding certificate, if you have a withholding certificate and the taxes are not final taxes, then you're expected to declare the same when filing for your annual returns. For you to declare for the withholding certificate income, once you download the Excel sheet for filing for the annual returns, in the basic information for, do you have any other income other than employment income? You say yes. There's a drop down there. So
Sorry, Maria, we've lost you. Maria, I don't know if you can hear me. Okay, let's give her a minute. She'll be joining us shortly, and then she can address that. In the meantime, I can
Hello,
look at that.
Mildred.
Yes, we can hear you now.
I'm sorry, I'm experiencing some technical issues on connection from this end. Please allow me to share my projection again.
It's okay. You can proceed.
So we continue with the basic information. So I said if you have withholding certificates, maybe from contractual income, from management fees, from professional fees, that is not final tax. So if you have the same withholding certificate on the same income, you are expected to declare the same income when filing for your annual returns. So once you download the Excel sheet, in the basic information on number 7, do you have any other income other than employment income? You say yes. There's a drop down there. You click on yes. Once you click on yes, the Excel sheet is going to auto populate for you other sections. That is section B, section C, for you to declare the same income. For example, once we click on section B for the profit loss account, so on section B for profit loss account, we have different columns for different incomes. So for example, if our income was from business income, you declare the same income from in the column C for business income. If the income was from farming income, you declare the same in column D. If the income was from rental income, you declare in column E. If the income was from interest, you declare on column F. If the income was from other sources of income, you declare on column G. So in our case, it is a withholding certificate. Maybe let's say the certificate is from professional fees. We will declare the same on the serial number 1.2 for gross turnover of profession or consultancy fee. So in this case, we can declare the same income on column G for others. Once you declare the same income, then you can claim for the expenses that you incurred. Please note that for the withholding income, you are expected to have e-teams invoices on your expenses. That is maybe accommodation expenses, travel expenses. That is if you incurred the same, you are expected to have e-teams invoices on the same. This is because the information that you will declare here, it will be validated against e-teams or the withholding credits data. That is the information that is available in the KRA system. Once you've declared that, you are expected to do a balance in the balance sheet. Then the part for the withholding credit, it will be auto-filled for you in the last section, that is section T. The same will be auto-filled for you in the serial number 13.4 for withholding tax. So this is where the amount will be auto-filled for you. So in our case, we didn't have any withholding credits. That's why the same, it is not auto-filled. But for example, for an employee that has both employment income and the side hustles, and they got the withholding certificates, then the same credit, that is the taxes that was deducted from the turnover amount and remitted directly to KRA, that one will be auto-filled here. Please note that just for clarification, the amount that is deducted from the gross amount and remitted to KRA, it is not final tax. That is why you are expected to declare the same amount, claim your expenses, and pay the taxes to KRA. I hope it is now clear, Mildred.
Yes, it is. The person who was asking can also confirm in case they have an additional question they can ask. I've seen also another one from Bernard. What if you file a wrong return and you'll wish to redo? How do you go about this? They
All
mean
right.
that they did. Yes, proceed.
So for example, in the year 2025, for example, let's say you've already submitted your return, that is the original return, you can file an amended return to make the corrections. But for the amended return, kindly, you are expected also to attach supporting document. So you can attach your P9 form from your employer as the supporting document. Please note in the type of return, there are two options: to file an original return, that is for the first time, and an amended return to make corrections of the information that was filed in the original return. Thank you, Mildred.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that the person can do an amended return on iTax to correct what they had filed initially wrongly. So we have another issue here. It's a bit lengthy. Maria, you'll allow me to read it. Hello, I have rental income obligation on my portal. The tax obligation was erroneously created when I was filing my annual returns in the cyber. I have been an undergraduate from then. Then they went to the office with have the same corrected, but they have not been assisted yet. They're asking what is the next procedure and how. I'm afraid that if I file my P9, I may be required to pay penalties. So they have an erroneous rental income obligation and they're also afraid to file their income tax return. Maria, you can take that.
Yes, Mildred. So kindly note that these are two different obligations. We have the first one, it is the monthly rental income. This one, it is usually filed monthly before 20th of every month. And we have the income tax returns obligation. This one, it is filed annually, that is before 30th June every year. These are two different obligations. So the monthly rental income doesn't affect the income tax obligation. So please, I'll advise you to proceed filing your returns, that is for the individual returns, the annual returns. Please file your returns, because failure to file your returns by 30th June, you'll be a penalty will be accrued in your KRA PIN of 2,000 and an interest of 1%. That is if you have any taxes due. Also, for the monthly rental income, if this obligation was added on your PIN erroneously, please, you are expected to come to KRA for deactivation of the same. Before you come to KRA, you are expected to have filed the monthly rental income obligation up to date and with no taxes due. So for the monthly rental income deactivation, until you get the confirmation from KRA that the monthly rental income obligation has been deactivated from your KRA PIN, you're expected to continue filing your returns every month before 20th of every month, or else there's a penalty of 2,000 every month on failure to file the returns by 20th of every month. Now, to deactivate the same obligation, you will be expected to bring some documentations, supporting documents to show that you don't have any rental houses. So some of the supporting documents, it is your bank statement for the last 6 months, and also you are expected to go to your area chief for them to write a letter to KRA, sign for you and stamp for you to as an evidence to show that you don't have any rental houses. And also you are expected to write a letter to KRA requesting for the obligation cancellation. I hope it is clear now, Mildred.
Okay, thank you for that. I can see he had already shared the documents. So Daniel, I'll provide an email address. You can share the documents once again with us, and then we can assist you make the follow-up for the cancellation of the same. Maria, I don't know if from your end you have any direct messages or any
Just a
questions
minute,
directed
I'll
to you.
check on the same. So there's a question. Let me read out the question. I have an income tax obligation with accrued penalties, which I have been following for removal. Can this affect my tax obligation when filing my P9 form? I think it's the same question from Daniel.
Yes, it is. That will be the same question, and I think you've addressed that. Do you have any other?
No, there's no any other question from my end.
Okay, thank you so much, Maria. She's an expert from the Micro and Small Taxpayers Unit. Thank you for taking us through that presentation on how to file the income tax returns, especially where you have employment income. So we'll be doing subsequent ones now where we go into you have employment income and you have other sources of income, and then we'll also go into where you have a withholding certificate. And I think we'll conclude with where you have no income at all. So this will be a monthly thing. If you have friends or if you're interested in for the subsequent sessions, we'll be posting the same on KRA TV, so you can join us. Thank you so much for creating time to join us. We will do a small exercise just to see if we've been able to address your concerns. So please give me a minute. I'm projecting the screen in a minute. Kindly give me a minute.
All right, Mildred. As Mildred is projecting the exercise, just to mention on the nil returns, please, if you have a friend or a family member that is trying to file their nil returns at the moment, the same, it is not available. It's going to be that option for filing the nil returns. This is zero returns. If you didn't have any income in the year 2025, it is going to be available from 31st March. So you will be able to file your returns from 1st April 2026. That is for nil returns for persons with no any income. So as we wait for Mildred, maybe if anything that wasn't clear to you, you can type the question on the chat box. We'll be able to answer your question before we end the session.
Okay, thank you for that clarification that the nil return will be available as from April. From my end, I don't see any other questions, Maria, so we can go into the exercise. Once we're done with the exercise, we will revisit to see if we have any questions. So this session is just to allow us to see if we've been able to address your areas of need and for you to give us feedback on the session and any areas of training that you would want us to have in the future. So you can kindly go to slido.com, then enter the participant code and the password that is displayed on your screen. So kindly, as we do that, I see a question, Maria, from Faiza. What if I have a friend who never filed any tax returns since they didn't have any income? Maria, are you able to
Yes,
take that?
yes, Faiza, thank you so much for the question. Kindly, as I mentioned in the presentation, anyone that has a KRA PIN, that is, if they have income or they don't have any income, they are expected to file their returns every year before 30th June. So kindly, if the friend, they've not yet filed any returns, that is, they didn't file any returns ever since they got their KRA PIN, they are expected to file the returns from the year they got the KRA PIN up to date. They are not able to file for the year 2025 when they've not yet filed for the previous years. So kindly file for the same up to date. Then there's an accrual of 2,000 per year penalty for the late filing.
Okay, thank you for that. If you've been able to join the poll, or if you can see a pop-up on your phone, please help us, give us feedback. Have you filed the return yourself before? Yes or no? We'll just give a bit more time. I can see the poll is at 50-50. We'll just give more time. Please join me. Let us know. Have you filed the return before by yourself? Let us know. I'll give a few more. I can only see 8 have participated. Please let us know. This feedback helps us so that we have sessions that are actually helpful for you. So I can see 8 of us have participated. So let's give 1 more minute, then we go to the next question. I can see majority have done the returns before. Okay, so we're closing on that. The next question, how would you rate this engagement today? Was it helpful? Was it not helpful? Was it poor? Please let us know. Once you select, click on the send button. Okay. This feedback it's totally anonymous. It helps us gauge if the sessions are important for you or we should customize it to something that actually adds value for you. We can go to the next one. Was the content clear and easy to follow? Did you find it easy? Did you find it hard? Once you vote, click on the send button. Let us know. Was it easy for you? Was it difficult for you to follow? Okay, I can see we have a number of people who voted, so we'll give it just a minute so that we have more of us voting. Then the next question, after this session, how confident are you in your filing? Do you still need someone to assist you? Will you do it yourself? Please let us know. Once you vote, click on the send button. I can see some of us are slightly confident. Some of us are very confident. That is good progress, I think, as we go along. And as Kenya Revenue Authority continues to simplify it, it will become easier for you. As Maria has said, we have options now to do the filing from even the USSD code for nil returns once that is availed, and even from the eCitizen platform. So we're in the process of simplifying it. As you can see this here, the return details are populated for you. You just have to verify if you're using the ITR or if you're using the Excel form, the details are already populated for you. You're verifying and submitting. So hopefully by next year, it will be even more simpler with more options for filing. Was this session relevant? Please let us know. Did it address your need? Should we have a subsequent one? Just let us know. And in case we left you behind, If you're on Slido, you can see the questions. So please keep your votes coming. Are you intending to apply this knowledge somewhere? Will you let someone know about the filing? Please let us know, or it's just for your consumption, or you don't intend to use it anywhere. Do you still intend to have someone do the filing for you? Just let us know. Then this one is very important. What areas would you like us to improve on based on the session now that you've created your time and you joined us from the beginning to the end? Please let us know if it was worth your while or there are areas you'd want us to improve on. Was it too fast? Was it too rushed? Did you want a live demonstration? Please let us know. Okay, the last one. Any areas you'd want us to train you on in the subsequent periods? Please let us know. Any areas you'd want us to train you on? Please let us know. Thank you so much for making your time. I can see tax obligations. I do agree. Withholding tax. I do agree with you. Withholding tax is the next session that we'll be training on. Filing corporate tax returns, very important, especially with the validation of expenses. So please keep, the poll will not be closed. You can keep your answers coming. Let me see if we have any other questions. On the link, I'll provide a number you can reach us on, an email you can reach us on, and there'll be the same poll provided on a link provided on the chat box. In case you missed anything, you can still partake in the poll. Thank you so much, Maria, and the MST team for creating time to take us through the training. And thank you to each one of you for joining us for this sensitization. I know you took time off classes or any other engagement that you had to join us. And we hope that the engagement has been insightful. It will be provided on KRA TV on YouTube. In case you missed anything, or you'll want to refer someone there, you can. Maria, I don't know if you have any parting shots or any other comments on your side. Anything asked from your side?
Thank you, Mildred. Mine is to thank you, Mildred, and your team, and also to thank our participants today for taking time out of their busy schedules to be with us today. Thank you, Mildred.
Okay, thank you, Maria, for that. I'm providing our phone number on the chat box. The email address you can reach us on the chat box as well. A link for the poll will also be provided on the chat box, just in case you missed that session. In case you have any questions or anything that you might be raising later, you can please let us know through the email that has been provided. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll be closing with a word of prayer, but the poll will still be running. You can proceed doing it and we'll respond to any other questions that have not been addressed after the session. So we'll not be ending the session immediately. It will still be open just in case you want to chat with us. Allow me to pray as we end the session.